Your website is the mousetrap. Your content is the cheese. Welcome to Content Matters with Barry Feldman and Andy Crestodina.
You get traffic from Google, you get traffic from Facebook, you get traffic from Twitter and LinkedIn and many sources, but those are all private companies. They're not in business to send you traffic. There's one type of traffic that is totally different from the others: email. When you think about it, really the only things you own in your marketing are your website and your email list.
This is why email marketing matters, and this is the topic of Content Matters podcast today with Barry Feldman and Andy Crestodina. All right, welcome to the show. So, email marketing. I guess the question is it important? And you already answered it, Andy. Right? You treat it as a property because people on your list are people that have given you permission to market to them.
Absolutely. You're not tied to a brand, right? You're not tied to a platform. Email is a completely unique source of traffic. It's not direct branded traffic, but it's really hard to drive that. But it's the one marketing activity that you can do that building on something that gives you a durable advantage that you own. You don't own your Twitter followers, your Facebook likes, your Google rankings, but you own your list and you earned it. It is a sacred thing. It's a sacred trust. And I don't know a single hardcore marketer that isn't aggressively growing their email lists.
Yeah, I say to clients and readers and now listeners that you probably, and I'm talking about the receiving end of email now and our lifestyles, our digital lifestyles, you probably skip breakfast more often than you skip checking your email, So it's just a part of your day, and that's probably not true to, the communities you belong to or LinkedIn or whatever. No, you probably do skip those more often. And so, I don't know, we have a lot in common in our business, and I guess the most obvious thing is that these are digital marketers that become customers of Feldman Creative and Orbit Media Studios. And I find, and I'm not happy to find this, email marketing's painfully overlooked. Do you find that?
It is. I think it's underrated. I think people don't fully appreciate it. I mean, people say, mobile marketing's important. Hey, if you're doing email, you're doing mobile. They say social is important. If you're doing email is super shareable. Have you ever seen the statistic that email is actually the number one channel for sharing?
Yeah.
People send stuff all the time. So email is the killer app that made the internet big, and it is an absolutely crucial tool for digital marketers, and that's why we're all such big fans of it.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't withered away, and those that believe that it has, I think they're always looking for, what's hot and what's new. But media doesn't generally kill old media. And I understand that the newspaper business is in pretty bad shape now, but we usually wind up with more media and more choices, and we don't usually wind up with a lot of dead media. So let's start giving some advice if we can about doing email marketing. Let's just assume that we have convinced the entire universe of those that have underrated it and not taken it seriously enough to begin doing it. Begin doing it not by using, Outlook or Gmail or Yahoo. You begin doing it with an email service provider. Is that not true?
That's right. The ESP, it's one of the critical tools. We're talking about MailChimp, Constant Contact, Emma, Mad, Mimi, Aweber. Pick your tool. These things are doing for you a couple of big things. One of them is giving you an authoring tool that makes it very easy to draft and send emails. They're doing the reporting on that, so you can see open rates and click-through rates. One of their main jobs is deliverability. They're making sure that the email gets through. So they have people on staff that are called the Director of Deliverability or ISP Relations. And if you're just not doing digital marketing if you're sending a bunch of mail from your personal address and just BCCing 100 people. That's just a terrible way. No reporting, no deliverability. It's just a big mistake.
Yeah, you need an email service provider. There'll be those that felt left out from Andy's list, but he mentioned a lot of popular ones, and you can certainly search for those. They have different features. Some of them sort of border on more sophisticated platforms now that they might or might not call marketing automation. But yeah, their job is to make sure your email gets through, and their job is also to make it so it's easy to create, format, deliver, schedule email. So you're nuts if you try to go about it on your own on your computer, and you're going to find that your email comes bouncing back to you, and you have all kinds of subscriber issues. And so email service providers where it begins, and then you need somebody to email to. Like Andy said at the top of the show, it's amongst your most valuable assets. So you need to build an email list, and there's certainly a lot of ways to do that. But generally, you do that by putting forms on your website, and the forms on your website can sell for as little as just an email address. And you do that as a value exchange. So talk to us about that, Andy. One thing is like subscribe to our newsletter, but it's probably not the best thing.
I'm going to talk in the mousetraps and cheese section. I'm going to talk about my conversion optimization tips for your email subscribe form, but let's mention now where you put it. I think email subscribe is actually one of the main desired outcomes for visitors who come to content marketing content, for visitors who come to the blog, for visitors who search for a helpful topic, right? When a visitor searches for like a dollar sign related phrase, they're ready to buy, they got their wallet out, you want them to become a lead or to buy. But everyone else in our marketing, right? These are the people who come to all of our content marketing stuff, the podcast, the blog post, the infographic, all those, the videos, all those things we made. Getting the subscriber there, that's almost the ideal outcome. That's kind of the point.
Right. But what I'm saying is, it's not. I suppose if the visitor could say, "I had a great experience here. I'm here for the first time. This writer, this brand, this content creator is so worthy that I want to remember them. Therefore, if I give them my email address, I know I'll be on their radar. I'll get hit by them, and I'll come back." But it's just one tactic, and the email newsletter doesn't get automatically filled without offering good content, and more often than not, the bribe or the reason to opt in is something that's downloadable or something that's gated. And so there's a long list of those.
Yep.
And those are things to consider. I think a beginning email marketer simply wants to make an asset. I don't know what it's called. It could be a guide, ebook, could be FAQ, whatever. It's a thing that says we're going to have a value exchange. You get this thing, and we get your email address.
That's right. So this is something that you're great at, Barry. So why don't you tell us about that value exchange, what they get, what you get, and how to do a little bit of writing around that that's going to maximize that value for both parties.
Well, I call that a lead magnet, and indeed a lead magnet can be, you don't want to miss our tips and tactics on X, Y, Z, in our business, generally digital marketing or content marketing, but hopefully our listeners cover a lot of different ground. And so you want to create something that is worth the person's time to give an email address for. You want to make that form simple. And really as singular or as brief as possible, so that you're not invading their privacy and scaring them away, trying to find out, what their phone number or address is if you're not going to be using it and you don't need it. And you want to attach value to it. Despite the fact that the cost of admission is merely your email address, it is indeed a sale. And so you want to create a bunch of value saying, this is going to help you solve your problem or this problem right now in the form of this thing, a 5-minute video, a 12-page something, a 12-page ebook, a 2-page checklist, something that sounds irresistible. And boy, the writing tips, those could go on and on, but it's basically about, like a content marketing 101 lesson. It's about problem solving. If you're doing this for the first time, and I think largely this podcast is focused on people that are trying to, tap into email marketing as beginners, you're probably just going to want to figure out, a short and top list of frequently asked questions or common problems, and put that together with a cool name and a cool cover, and say, you can have it for free right now.
Yeah. I'd say a couple other tips, that you've got to put that benefit, just like you said, you got to put that benefit into the subject line. Ask them, if you put on your empathy hat and you're thinking about it from the point of view of the subscriber, then you really should be asking yourself, why would the person take this action? Why would they subscribe? Why would they open? And why would they click? This is the 3 actions that are going to drive our email, the 3 critical metrics. And each one of those interactions between your marketing and that audience, the ROI equation has to be there for the subscriber, right? So what you're doing is you're telling them that the return, what they're going to get for this tiny action they take, is worth their investment of sharing their email address or their time, the 10 seconds to click and look at something. So really, the return should be explicit. You got to put the benefit in there. You can also tease them with curiosity, but for the most part, what's going to work is telling them very specifically that these are guides, these are tips, this is tactics, this is practical, this is how-to, this is step-by-step. So I think that those are some of the most successful email subject lines and calls to action to subscribe, the ones that are really explicit about the benefit. Here's another super quick tip. If you put a human's name into the sender name for your campaigns, don't send from a brand, send from a person, right? It's political season. All the political campaigns are doing this very well. No email should come from a faceless brand. Be a person. It helps. It's good to be human and indicate that you're a human by making the sender name an actual first, last name rather than a brand.
It's good to be human. Email marketing advice from Andy.
It is.
Okay, so yeah, well, we covered that. We almost moved on, and we should move on quickly to writing email and getting opens and clicks and so forth. But real quick, while we don't have a lot of time, we'll say the point is very well taken that you don't just say, subscribe to our newsletter. There's no value there. There's no reason to do it. You deliver value. And then it doesn't have to be a newsletter. And so let's talk about email types that people enjoy getting. One of them is a newsletter, and you might send that probably no more than once a week, maybe twice. You could have offers. Whenever you're offering something new, they could be free. They could be offers of things you sell and discounts. In the big world of email now, you have upsells and cross sells that go to customers. A lot of times you recognize that they've been with you for X amount of time. Maybe you know their birthday based on marketing automation, so you might celebrate occasions with your email. Emails are often invitations to events and webinars and Twitter chats and the launch of products and what have you. Could be physical events. Emails certainly should include thanks, even as simply as thanks for subscribing to our email. Here's what to expect going forward.
Sure.
A real favorite topic of mine, you and I have talked about this lately, is an email and then some should be a series when you first get somebody's emails, this sort of file under strike while the iron's hot, of a welcome series that says, here's what to expect. Here's why you made a good choice to subscribe to our email list. Here's some of the cool things we can offer you. Here's some of the things that we're working on now, and try to, lead nurture, basically.
Sure. That welcome series, I'm really excited to collaborate with you on a welcome series, a mini project we're going to jump into. I had a great conversation at one of our mini events with Sonia Simone from Copyblogger. Everyone knows her as a brilliant editor and a great content marketer. She's also a superstar email marketer. And she said that for those welcome series emails, she likes to put the numbers in there so that, you're getting, this is the fourth email. One of the things that her team has discovered that when they put numbers in there, that people respond saying, wait, where was number 3? I missed number 3.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a sign of good marketing when people say, hey, where's the rest of the marketing you're sending me? I'm looking for the marketing. Please send more.
Yeah, it just occurred to me my email sequence is a thematic thing, my welcome email sequence about content marketing lessons I've delivered via my blog that are popular and the occasional tool and so forth. And it occurred to me that people will miss it, so I made a final installment that said, here's all the links. It's kind of a content hub. All right, well, we're kind of running out of time before we get to that favorite little thing of ours. But let's talk real quick about getting people to click your emails. The subject line. I'm a copywriter. Subject line is this new world headline. You need to get to the point fast inside of somebody's busy life with a small device, a medium device, a computer, a laptop. Generally speaking, you need to kill it in a subject line that says, this is a must click. And however well you do that, nowhere near 100% of the people are going to do that. You should, celebrate when 15 to 20 to 25% of the people do that. So your writing chops and your study into getting good at email marketing as a newcomer should be largely focused on writing good subject lines that deliver the curiosity and value that get people to actually do what you want them to do, which is first and foremost click. Open, I guess, and open and then click.
Yep. And how do we affect open rates? There's only a few ways. The sender name, the subject line, and the email timing. That's pretty much all you get. You might get one line of text at the top that they'll see at their inbox, but there aren't that many ways to influence these numbers. Now, having said that, there are definitely ways to do it better and worse, and we talked a little bit about making, using the benefit or triggering curiosity. How else can we maximize click-through rates and open rates, Barry?
You should say the topic, right? You only want the click-through or the open if it's relevant. So you should try to figure out a way to get the topic in there. You should be a little pessimistic probably about the amount of space that this will afford you, like if you're looking at this on a phone. So you should say your topic not only clearly but quickly and immediately, and go for a very short line. I like to use question marks. There's a lot of the tricks of the trade. Those are the few that come to my mind first. And yeah, I would think that you have sort of a bank account with your reader in terms of your reputation and your ability to come through with cool content. So that front line, not only should be your name, it should mean that this is worth your time. When I get an email from Andy Crestodina, I tend to open it, right? It's sort of like Jay Baer talked about that, like if it's from your wife or spouse or girlfriend or what have you, it ranks, right? So you have to make deposits to that bank account relentlessly and ensure people that you're not wasting their time.
Barry, I think so. That brings us to our the final part of our little segment here, which is
it's time for Mousetraps and Cheese. I go first with cheese content stories, and so we're talking about email. And that is, I guess, well, I don't even want to say it. It's so many things. It's traffic building, it's lead nurturing, it's trust building. But let me give you this tip. Email, while we've mostly discussed it so far today as a way to introduce yourself to a prospect and start to nurture that lead, you have customers that should not be ignored. Email is also a customer loyalty channel, and perhaps the best. And so a portion of your your messages that you send to people should be about how to better use your product or service, how to take advantage of your content. So make them love you even more than they already do by considering email retention and loyalty and referral strategy such that you are giving your best tips to your best customers so that they consume it and share it and act on it.
Great tip. That's some good cheddar, Barry. Here's my mousetrap tip. So what I'm going to give you is my 3 Ps for a good high-converting email sign-up form. If your email sign-up form is just this little lonely box in the footer of your website that says email sign-up submit, ask yourself why you have such a crappy email sign-up form. And don't be surprised that nobody fills it out, because that would be weird if someone filled that out. Like that, you're not telling them anything. So you're lacking all 3 Ps, and here they are. P, prominence. Now, it doesn't have to be a pop-up box, but that's very prominent. It can also be sort of a sticky header, or it can appear in many places, or it can be draw attention with color, or put a human's face over there. Like, do something to draw the eye toward that email sign-up area. Second P, promise. We're going to tell them what they're going to get and how often they're going to get it. So if your topic is, gutter cleaning tips, you put that in there, right? You tell them, we're a bowling website, and this is about, how to break your high score in bowling. Whatever it is, you have to make that explicit. Give them a promise, not just for the topic, but also maybe the frequency. My email sign-up form says bi-weekly web marketing tips. Third P, proof. Give them some evidence of legitimacy. Give them some reason to believe that this is a normal thing to do, right? Social proof. The goal of social proof is to make every action except doing what you want them to do seem weird. you want them to do it. You're telling them other people do it, kicking in the conformity bias, kicking in herd behavior, also known as the bandwagon effect. So social proof would be something like the number of subscribers. Easy for big blogs to do. If you don't have a big blog, just put in a little testimonial right there. This is a great tip. Thanks for sending it. I love your emails. That's going to give proof. So prominence, promise, and proof. For us, it's a red box that says, join the 12,000 people who get bi-weekly web marketing tips. Now all you got to do is deliver on the promise.
Social Proof for Content Matters podcast. Join the 12 million people who are digital marketers and want to learn a couple times a month tips on the tongue of Andy Crestodina and Barry Feldman. When you join us next time, maybe I exaggerated, but we got a little.
Sounds good. Yeah, I like that. 12 million.
We got a little fanfare today on Search Engine Journal.
Yeah, shout out to Search Engine Journal. Thanks for including us in the 18 digital marketing podcasts not to miss. We were honored to be included in that list.
There you go. Social proof for you listeners. And when you join us next time, we're going to try to unravel the misconceptions and the meaning of bounce rate, meaning people that come and go to your website. Is it good? Is it bad? How do you reduce it? Where do you reduce it? Why do you reduce it? When do you reduce it? So forth. Okay, so join us next time.
It's gonna take a little time.
Awesome topic. Looking forward to it.